We are working on the project together and using Microsoft Teams. Patricia is a team lead on the project, and Vadim is the team member. Both Patricia and Vadim report to John. We've identified two main work streams for the project. First one is to create the video, and second one is to market the video. Our strategy is to find a new vendor to create a video and use an existing vendor to market the video. To be compliant with laws and regulations, we are required to create request for proposal, reach out to the vendors, evaluate request for proposal, and then select the vendor. It is a very formal process, and in the end, we would need to be able to explain the results to whoever might be asking questions. Because both team members work remote, we decided to use collaborating features of Microsoft Teams to develop request for proposal together. To do that, Patricia navigated to create video channel, clicked on files, and clicked on start new document. Because request for proposal is the Word document, she chose Word document. And she named it request for proposal docx. Microsoft Teams provides phenomenal file collaboration capabilities. It has built-in versions of Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint online right inside Microsoft Teams. And it has various different ways allowing you to collaborate. You can use comments, you can use conversations, and you can also use version control. On top of that, it auto-saves the information so you don't have to be worried about losing anything when you're using Microsoft Teams. In fact, when Patricia was developing this slide, she realized that she missed version control. But then she realized that this is an existing, powerful feature of Microsoft Office, which is also available in Microsoft Teams. Patricia had decided to start with the company's template for request for proposal. In addition to setting up template, Patricia started populating it, and she included some of the information that was obvious for this particular request for proposal. She just typed it in, and Microsoft Teams saved this Word online document without asking the user. She also decided to turn on tracking. To do that, she navigated to Review tab in Microsoft Word, selected Track Changes, and selected for everyone. After doing all of this, she decided to share the initial draft version with Vadim. The best way to share would be to select the document, click Copy Link, and then navigate to the General section where you have Main Conversation, and target somebody by starting the new conversation. Once she is done typing the message, she can just use Ctrl-V to paste the link. Because Patricia targeted Vadim in her conversation request, when Vadim logged in into his system, he saw that there are two messages in the general channel. Vadim didn't know where the file was. All he needed to do is just click on the link. There are two main ways how you can collaborate on a document in Microsoft Teams. If you're putting your feedback inside the document, you have an option of using version control or using comments. If you are collaborating on the outside of the document, you can put your feedback on the channel messages inside Microsoft Teams. It is always a good option to discuss with your team members what is the preferred option and which option they would like to use, especially if you have a large number of people on the team. This would allow you to organize the feedback, centralize it, and review it effectively. Vadim read the document and he decided that he can add more content based on what he knew about the project. Before adding the content though, he decided to format the document a little bit by including the bullets into some of the sections. After looking at the bullets though, he decided to change them into just regular numbers, because what if vendor will decide to reference particular requirement? It would be so much easier to do if each requirement will have its unique number. And he was really glad that this was Microsoft Word, where they were doing the editing with Patricia, because Microsoft Word provides all of these capabilities. He even added the numbering in the sections where there was only one item, as his thought process was that maybe, as they worked together with Patricia, there would be more than just one item there. In addition to what Patricia had, Vadim also added a couple items in the evaluation metrics and submission requirements. For evaluation metrics, Vadim added that video should describe key benefits of the product. And the second one he added, video should focus on the product and show as much of the product in the scenes as possible. He thought that this was something important for vendor to realize, as some of the commercials and videos created by the vendor focus on the actors instead of focusing on the product itself. He also added that the video should be in the 4K format. We can always downsize the format, but we cannot upsize it without losing the quality. Vadim was so happy that Patricia turned on track changes in the document, because he can see what she wrote and he can clearly see the changes that he made. He was very impressed that you can hover on top of the text that was written and you will see the date and timestamp and who made the change. He also recalled that the legal team was always requiring marketing team to include some specific statements for every video that company makes. But instead of writing it inside the document, he decided to use comments feature of Microsoft Word Online to communicate this to Patricia. To do that, he clicked on the comments button. He wrote, "Do we need to include legal requirements as we did in our previous videos? Should we specify the text for the vendor so they include it as text inside the video or as a voice at the end of the video?" And then he posted the comment. He was very happy with the results and he decided to communicate back to Patricia that he's done with his review. To do that, he navigated back and he decided to write back to Patricia in the general channel. He wrote, "I had a chance to look. Great start, but I think we may need to engage our legal team. Let me know your thoughts." And then he sent the message. When Patricia received this note, she decided to look at the changes Vadim made. She clicked on the link that she herself posted, and she can clearly see all the changes that he made, because the track changes control was on. She also saw the comment that Vadim added, and she thought that this comment made sense, so she wrote back to Vadim. She wrote, "Great catch. Let's have a meeting with them soon to review the document." And she posted this comment right in the Word Online. As a next step, Patricia decided to review the changes Vadim had made. She decided to review changes one by one and accept or reject them as needed. The first change she was very happy with, so she right-clicked on the change and selected Accept Insertion. This made this change permanent. She was also very happy with all the numbers that Vadim added, so she decided to accept those changes as well. And finally, she was also very happy with his catch about 4K format. This is the new format, and creating video in the new format will help it last for longer in the social media as well as in other marketing channels where it could be used. So she decided to accept this change as well. Patricia and I are working on the marketing project for our flagman product. Patricia is a team lead and she also plays the role of project manager. We both are peers and we both report to John in organizational structure. John suggested that we look at the risks that might be associated with our project execution. John also suggested that we create a risk register where we will be able to track risk severity, risk's likelihood, and our treatment strategy for the particular risk. Based on Patricia's research, the best way to create risk registry would be to use the Files tab right inside Microsoft Teams. By default, there are 3 tabs for each channel: Posts, Files, and Wiki. Most of the time you operate in the Posts tab, but if you would like to create a shareable file, the best way to do it is by using the Files tab. So when you navigate to Files tab and click New, you can choose what type of file you would like to create. And for Risk Register, the best type of the file would be an Excel workbook. After you give file a name, you can click Create button, and this will create brand new Excel document. Microsoft Teams will also open web-based interface. You can edit the file and add additional content right away. Typically, an effective risk register consists of at least 5 different elements: Risk ID, which uniquely identifies the risk, risk description, risk's severity, risk's likelihood, and treatment strategy. Because the document you create is native Microsoft Excel document, you can highlight the first row to spotlight the headers. You might also consider changing the sheet name to reflect what's actually stored in the sheet. Another helpful thing you can do is create a separate tab which would describe what type of values are you expecting in each particular column. To do that, you just need to click on the plus sign and populate the new sheet with the new values. For example, you can call a separate tab in this Excel workbook and call it Description. Here you would describe the values for risk severity, risk's likelihood, and risk level. Risk severity values might be acceptable, tolerable, undesirable, or intolerable. Risk likelihood values might be improbable, possible, or probable. And risk levels might be low, medium, high, and very high. Some teams might also consider organizing their risk values into the 3-column data. You can have value for the risk, which would assign numeric value for each risk severity, for example, risk likelihood, or risk level. Then you will have a short description, and then you will have long description for the risk. There are multiple benefits for this approach. First of all, it will gravitate everybody on the team to better understand what type of risks descriptions and what type of risk values they should select. It will also allow you to do some calculations with risks. For example, if you would like to determine what is really high in terms of the risk, you can do a calculated value and multiply values for the risk severity, risk likelihood, and risk level to get to the calculated value for each risk. Once you define the structure for your risk register, you can start entering the risks. For example, let's compare two risks that we've entered into our risk registry. Selected distribution channels, risk number 1. Selected distribution channels for the marketing video will not reach the target audience. And now compare it to the second risk. Vendors will not complete the video before launch date for flagman product. Let's first assign risk severity to both risks. For the first one, the risk severity is intolerable. Basically what it means is that the entire effort of creating the video and distributing the video was done for nothing. If we choose wrong channels to distribute the video for our clients, there's no reason to do this project in the first place. And value 4 for risk severity reflects that. Second risk we can classify into undesirable category. Even if video is not completed before the launch of the flagman product, we still have other marketing mechanisms that we can use to market the product. Using similar logic, we can assign risk likelihood and risk level values. Once we've assigned all the values in columns C, D, and E, we can calculate the actual value behind the risk. To do that, we can use formulas in Microsoft Excel. One of the best ways to calculate the actual value behind the risk is multiplication. If we multiply columns C, D, and E values, we will get to the actual value behind the risk. So for the first one, the value is 24. Let's compare it to the second risk. To do that, we can copy the value and paste it into the cell F3. And for the second risk, the actual value behind the risk is 12. There are three main strategies teams can use to deal with risks. Team can accept the risk. This option basically tells, yes, we know about the risk, but we're not going to do anything about this. We're just going to live with that. You can transfer the risk. There are multiple ways to transfer. The best example of transferring the risk would be purchasing insurance. You can also transfer the risk to the external provider. You can put some special clauses in the contract to make provider responsible if this particular risk materializes. External vendors typically understand that, and they charge higher premium for the high-risk contracts. And the last strategy is risk remediation. This is the most frequently used strategy, because in this option, team has ability to control the risk, manage the risk, and take actions. Now, when the risk register is in place, you can just click on the three-dot button, copy the link, and share it with everybody on the team. It might be a good idea to conduct periodic risk reviews as part of the status meetings. You can also download this risk register template by using link in the description of this video. I am working with Patricia on the marketing project to create video for our flagman product. We both report to John. Our company doesn't have any video creation capabilities, so we've identified 3 vendors we would like to work with to create video. Maxaman Marketing Group, Rinaldi Video Creation, and Toriox Advertising Agency. These are the best companies in our area that specialize in marketing video creation. Patricia and I already put together RFP, request for proposal document. We used Microsoft Word and created it in Microsoft Teams. John suggested that we present our project to the vendors. To do that, we would like to schedule a meeting with them. We would like to learn about the vendors, would like to tell them about the project that we're working on, and would like to share RFP with them and answer any questions they might have. Patricia did the research, and she recommends we use Microsoft Teams for the entire RFP process. All vendors, just like us, work remotely today. We can use exciting features of Microsoft Teams. We can use Microsoft Teams for real-time collaboration. We can do private chats. We can do public conversations. We can do audio and video calls. And we can do virtual meetings, all inside Microsoft Teams. In order to best prepare for the meeting with vendors, we would need to put together PowerPoint presentation. And we're planning to use features of Microsoft Teams that allow us to work together on the same file to get the presentation ready. Microsoft Teams has native capabilities to work with PowerPoint. You have multiple ways to collaborate. You can do comments, you can do conversations, and you can enable version control. PowerPoint also automatically saves files, so you don't have to click Save button to protect what you have already created, as you would have to do it in the desktop version of PowerPoint. Our project has multiple phases, and each phase is represented by the channel in Microsoft Teams. RFP phase is part of Create Video channel. So the most logical place for this PowerPoint file would be in the Files tab of the Create Video channel. We already have Request for Proposal here, so all we need to do to create a presentation is to click New, PowerPoint Presentation. You type the name of the file you're trying to create and click Create button. Here, just like in regular PowerPoint application on the desktop, you have access to the ribbon bar and all the tabs, as well as you have access to the designer, and you can pick different themes and different designs for your presentation. I was very excited about all these capabilities and decided to share with Patricia that I put together a template for the future presentation. I copied the link to the file using Copy Link feature for the Files section inside Microsoft Teams, and went back to the Posts section and started a new conversation with Patricia. I typed the message and wanted to make sure that Patricia is the one that will receive notification, so I used @ and then Patricia's name to make sure she gets notification. My message was, "Hi Patricia, here's the template for vendor presentation I have started," and I pasted the link to the PowerPoint file I put together. Little did I know that Patricia had something better in mind. When she received this message from me, she responded, "Thanks Vadim, great start, but I would recommend that we use an existing company's RFP template as a starting point. Let's just upload it and collaborate." Most of the times, companies have pre-built templates, so instead of designing something new from scratch, you can just upload the document to the Files area inside Microsoft Teams and collaborate. For example, this is the sample of the vendor presentation template that could be used. It already follows company's guidelines, it has company logo, and typically has a lot of slides already in place. When I received this message, I was so thankful that I work with Patricia, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I definitely liked this message and shared with Patricia using the features of Microsoft Teams that help you share the emotions of how you feel at the moment. You have some other emotions that you can share here based on what you feel. This is especially helpful when you work in a remote environment and you don't regularly see people face to face. It is also helpful when you work with offshore teams and the vendors that you may never see at all. To upload the document into the Files section, all you need to do is navigate to the Files tab and click the Upload button. Here you have a way of uploading just individual file or the group of folders to build the hierarchical structure. Because I use Windows, I can preview the file before uploading it. All you need to do is just click on the file, and then you can scroll within the file just to make sure that you're uploading the right document. After upload, file shows up as just a brand new file. Because we are planning to use this template instead of the other one, I felt that we needed to do something with the file to avoid confusion. You can either delete the file by using the features of the Teams and selecting the delete option, or you can rename the file, which is what I would like to do. This way you keep the file, but you give it such a name that eliminates the confusion. So I gave this file a name backup-do not use and then kept the original file name. Because the file that I uploaded is a PowerPoint file, when I click on it, I have all the editing features available to me to edit the file. In addition to being able to use comments inside the file, I also decided to add the review features and track all the changes. So I went to the Review tab looking for familiar Turn on Revision Control Changes button. But the cool thing about PowerPoint Online is that it automatically tracks all the changes, so you don't need to turn anything on. Once changes are made, all you need to do if you want to see the changes is to use this Show Changes button. For example, if I update one of the goals for the project, and the text that I would add will be increase awareness about Flagman product, when Patricia logs in and comes with her account to look at this document, this is what she would see on her toolbar. She would see that Vadim is currently editing the document. She would see the comments if I have any comments. She can start the conversation with whoever is editing the document. And if she navigates to the Review tab and clicks Show Changes, she would be able to see what I'm currently working on by simply clicking my name and clicking Go to Location, and it will show exact element of PowerPoint slide which I'm working on. Even though we have screen sharing capabilities inside Microsoft Teams, this type of organization and feedback inside PowerPoint allows us just to be on the phone line and work on the same document together if necessary. This might be very helpful, for example, if our internet connection is not reliable. Patricia can also add comments. She just needs to click the Comments button and type a new comment. Once she types and posts the comment, I will be able to see the comment in my view of the PowerPoint presentation. it would show for Vadim that Patricia Jackson is also editing. And if I enable comments, I will see all the comments that she makes. Using comments is only one way to collaborate on a document. If I disable comments and switch to conversation, this is a more dynamic way, and this is something where you don't even need a phone line to collaborate on the document. For example, Patricia can specifically target Vadim to trigger notification on my end. All she needs to do is just use the @ sign, and it will show you the list of users that's available in your team. Vadim can see the notification Patricia triggered in the activities section of Microsoft Teams. The message from Patricia will show up right in the feed. Hi Vadim, can you please edit slide 5 and I'll take care of slide 3. And here you have ability as usual to confirm that you've received the message. I am working with Patricia on the marketing project. Both of us report to John. As we started getting more actively involved in the create video phase of the project, Patricia realized that we will have a lot of meetings. She also realized that we need a lot of collaboration with other people to be successful. Based on Patricia's experience, there are 3 essential criteria to be successful with all the meetings. You need to define an objective for the meeting, you need to prepare an agenda for the meeting, and you need to capture the decisions and outcomes. Patricia did a little bit of research and realized that all of these functions could be done within Microsoft Teams. Patricia and myself work remotely, as we can hold virtual meetings. And based on her research, the best app that could be used within Microsoft Teams is OneNote app. To add OneNote app, you need to click on the plus sign and then find the app. You can either create new notebook or use existing notebook which was predefined for you. Patricia decided to use an existing notebook. She selected it and clicked Save. First thing you need to do is to create a new section. As her first section, Patricia decided to create template for meeting minutes. Now within the section, you can create multiple pages. If you expand the selection, you will see your section and then you have untitled page. Once you start typing, it will give page a name. To be effective with OneNote, you need to understand OneNote's structure. OneNote consists of 4 main objects: notebook, section, page, and subpage. The structure is hierarchical. You can have multiple sections inside one notebook. You can have multiple pages inside the section. And you can have multiple subpages within the page. Because Patricia selected existing notebook that comes by default within Microsoft Teams, she can organize sections as project milestones. The sections might be create video and market video. The pages might represent meeting minutes for each milestone, and subpages could contain some additional information. Following this approach, Patricia created 3 sections: template for meetings, create video, and market video. Template for video contained 1 page, template for meetings. This page contained a template of all the most important information related to the meeting that should be captured. Patricia also started getting ready to our first meeting. She copied the template and she pasted the template into the notes that she started making. After she pasted the template, she moved the vendors she preliminarily identified into the objective and agenda section. She also used features of OneNote, like bullets, to make list of vendors very clear. When Vadim logged in into his account, he saw that Patricia added a new tab on top of the channel. The reason he did this because she selected the checkmark that made the post right in the general channel. Vadim can access OneNote app either by clicking on the link that Patricia shared or by clicking on the tab that has OneNote app. All team members have access to this new app and can work on the meeting minutes together. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful and helped you to solve your challenge. If you liked the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this, and we will make sure to deliver it to you in the future. Also, please make sure to check out our free and premium resources on the website. All you need to do is to go to the menu section and select appropriate options. In addition, make sure you don't forget to look at the downloads in the description section of this video. I also recommend that you follow Online Training for Everyone. We are constantly delivering new content to help you solve different problems and challenges. And I also have a favor to ask. If you know someone who would benefit from this content, please make sure to share this video with your friends or colleagues to help them solve their challenges. Make sure to leave your questions or suggestions in the comment section of this video. And all the best on your journey. Thanks for watching.